Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough. Let's talk about the Polar Express. The Polar Express was originally a book written by Chris Van Allsburg, who was also known for Jumanji and Zathura. The story is fairly simple, about a young boy who ends up taking a train trip to the North Pole as Santa is about to head off for his delivery run. The book was released in 1985 and was later turned into an animated movie in 2004, Allsburg taking over as the producer and the directing being done by Robert Zemeckis. Shortly before, his movies kept progressively getting creepier and creepier. And for the most part, this movie has kept the same mellow and calming mood that the original source material had, while adding some certain things and adding excitement when it was needed. The movie was a success with critics, audiences, and the box office, so naturally there was going to be tons of tie-ins with the Polar Express branding. A soundtrack, home video releases, several train lines doing special tie-ins to the movie, toy trains, and what we're talking about today, a video game tie-in. I would ask why that is, other than the obvious answer of it being an easy cash grab, but look at it this way. If Jumanji and Zathura could get their own board games made based on the books and the movies, as well as video games on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, why not make a video game based on the Polar Express? Once again put out by THQ, this game was released in the same year the movie was and was ported onto multiple consoles. The Game Boy Advance, the PC, PlayStation 2, and what we're looking at today, the GameCube version. Now while the PC versions of this game seem to be regarded as mediocre at best, the console versions of this game I've heard are actually really bad. But let's see how fast this train really derails. This is the Polar Express on GameCube. As you'll see, this is one of those games where you jump between quick clips used from the movie to new cutscenes made specifically for the game. Ahead of time, I'll just say that the graphics are okay. I know I harp on this a lot, but after seeing Ed, Edd n Eddy in a 3D environment, you could certainly do far worse. It may not be pleasant on the eyes as the movie was, but we can definitely look past it. From here, you play in a variety of games with every train cart you enter, each based on tasks that other kids on the train ask you to help them with, as well as fighting off the evil Scrooge puppet, who the game has decided is just the out-and-out villain. This can include searching a room full of jack-in-the-boxes, collecting wind-up mice, breaking open frozen Christmas presents, a stealth level where you have to dodge the train's chef, and a handful of levels where you go up against Scrooge and his puppet toy minions. Whether it's several mini-games of kicking balls into bins that the puppets are hiding in, a food fight level, hitting them with a cartoon mallet, and even a tennis level against a jack-in-the-box. Damn, forget about cruise ships, man. This train has everything you could possibly want in a relaxing getaway. So while we're here on the train, let's talk a little bit about the controls. Sometimes they range from super easy, like just rapidly pressing B to pick up these wind-up mice, to the controls in the food fight stage, which are insanely difficult to get used to. When I started playing this, I had no idea what to do, since most of these puppets are pretty far away, and your throw has the worst range. Maybe if you're a real Fortnite Ninja Alpha Male gamer, maybe you'll be lucky and get a triple headshot, but for the most part, I'd recommend just aiming upwards. It surprisingly works more than it doesn't. Then there's the tennis stage, which mostly consists of going back and forth to hit the world's slowest tennis ball and making sure that the jack-in-the-box doesn't get the chance to hit it. And then you get to these dribbling levels, which quite possibly have the best damage sound in the whole game.
Take this! No!
Speaking of damage sounds, there's also this that happens in the next level when you're jumping around on the train's roof. This is the damage sound you get. It's this weird realistic sound of what sounds like, I don't know, a hard object hitting a wooden table. It's loud, usually out of nowhere, and feels incredibly out of place in a game like this. As for this level, you're on the roof to catch up with the conductor and one of the girls as you dodge, duck, and jump over objects that could potentially hit you and knock you off. All the while, that amazing bonk sound effect happens every time you get hit. Get through that, you come across the hobo on top of the train with another clip from the movie, which then leads into a skiing level? Because apparently they need to catch up with the train. They were just on top of it, now they're on the side of a mountain somewhere? In the movie, the skiing hobo was protecting the kid when the train was going down some steep hills and about to go into a cave with large icicles that could hit them. It's like this game follows some things from the movie and doesn't with others. Whereas the train roof stage was mostly easy to adapt to, just dodge objects with the jump, occasional double jump, and the joystick to change your direction, this stage actually isn't all that bad. It's just kind of a standard skiing stage where you jump off ramps and dodge objects coming at you. It's nowhere near as fun as Battle for Bikini Bottom, but at least it's not the snow stages from Sonic 06. Kind of surprised they didn't even add a time limit on here, considering you're supposed to catch up with the train. The weirdest thing about this level is the trees. Most of the time you bump into them and it breaks your momentum, but sometimes these trees you can go right through, like they're ghost trees or something. Anyway, you find your way back to the train through the power of cutscene, and now we get 2 levels with the firemen. One where you have to catch objects to get the engine working properly while dodging hot rocks falling towards you, and then, of all things, a rhythm game.
Down, left, right.
Because damn it, this was a game that came out in the 2000s, and every game at that point, even a Polar Express game, had to have some kind of crappy rhythm segment where you match up crappy music on screen with buttons on the controller. After another fighting off evil Jack-in-the-Box stage, you then get this weird pattern game where you have to direct this girl from one train cart to the other. Sounds simple enough, but it seems you have to move the crates in a certain pattern in order to do it right, and it becomes as tedious as it sounds. Though, if I can give any compliment here, the music is at least pleasant.
Okay, slide this way.
After another Toy Mice level, geez, is this game seriously running out of steam? Damn it, that was a train pun, wasn't it? You finally work your way up to the final Scrooge level, throwing snowballs at Scrooge's yellow heart, pretty sure that's not healthy, and jump whenever he ground pounds. All of this isn't too bad, but the worst thing about it are the kids in the background telling you what to do. It'd be fine if they did it the first few times when you start the stage and then stop doing it once you get started, but no, they just keep going and going the entire level as it plays out.
Try jumping up when he takes the floor.
Watch out!
Try jumping up when he takes the floor.
Watch out! Try, you can do it!
Watch out!
No! Watch out!
Watch out!
Shut up, Mandark! Okay, so you think that might be the end of the game, right? I mean, you defeated the main villain, but no, there's still plenty more to go.
Would there be any Polar Express passengers requiring refreshment?
Oh, cool. We're gonna get a level based on the hot chocolate scene with the great music from the movie?
Up, down, left, spin.
Oh my god, what in the hell is that music? I get this game probably couldn't handle the actual song, maybe they couldn't use the proper audio or have a clean sounding instrumental, or maybe it was like a copyright issue or something, but instead we're given what sounds like even below the worst mid-eye program ever. And on top of that, the music is the whole point of the level because it's another rhythm game. Enough of that. On to the next level where you have to control one of the train cars as you roll through the streets of the North Pole, and you have to dodge potholes in the tracks. Yeah, you remember that part from the movie when they went off track and practically went halfway off the rails? The A button serves as brakes and the X button does the boost. Best part of this stage easily has to be when the cart flies off the rails and then lands back on track. In reality, that cart probably would have been decimated. After that, you then get a stage based on the pneumatic tube system, which is basically just a glorified game of Simon. Yeah, you know that old Light Bright game from the 80s? Yeah, it's basically the same thing here. You have to match up the right color on screen with the respective button that you're supposed to match it up to. After that, you then made it to the toy factory like in the movie. To me, this is quite possibly the dullest stage in the entire game. Other levels so far have been overtly easy or laughably bad, but this level is just one big memory game with a level layout that looks almost exactly the same every room you enter. You have to make sure the conveyor belts are going a certain way, so you have to make your way from platform to flip some levers, and make sure that certain presents go down certain tunnels, and to think I said that the moving boxes level was tedious. If you're able to get past that, you're close to the end of the game. Next, you have this platforming stage where you work your way up a giant winding present mountain. The worst thing about this stage is the platforming itself. Just one wrong jump over an open hole, you will fall and fall and fall, and you just might have to redo 10 minutes of platforming you just lost. And we end on another vehicle level, this time flying the blimp from the end of the movie. Compared to the train cart level, it's better. All you have to do is just go up to not hit buildings and occasionally duck under high bridges. Only kind of annoying thing here is the time limit, which isn't even all that bad. At this point, I was just ready to have the game over, and thankfully, you beat the game once you get to the end goal, and we end with another clip from the movie. That was the Polar Express on GameCube, and it sucks. To the game's credit, it does replicate scenes from the movie pretty accurately, even with the weird fighting toys element that was added. They tried turning scenes from the movie into playable levels that might be entertaining for really young kids. But as a young adult, some of these levels range from pretty easy to kind of boring, and it's not helped by the occasional control bugs. Even tolerable graphics can't mask something like that. I am genuinely surprised that this game actually does have a variety of things for you to do. I mean, you got platforming, puzzle levels, collecting stages, rhythm games, and even sports levels with tennis and soccer. It's just a pity that most of it isn't very good. Though, as bad as this game is, it's the kind of bad game I'd actually recommend to certain people. I know it's an older game and some young viewers may not want to play it just because it's a game that's so bad it's funny, but I swear, the unintentionally funny stuff that's in this game actually made me want to keep playing it. So yeah, it's a bad game, but if you want some cheap laughs, then I definitely recommend playing it. If you want a more genuine piece of Christmas entertainment, then I would recommend either watching the movie or reading the book that inspired it. I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough.